Really weird that she would just go do that. I mean, she had some issues, and this was going to treatment on the 27th. There's cameras everywhere, okay? I mean, everywhere on this dock. There's no reason this should not be on film. From everybody's got cameras. Cameras right there, right there. That's the main gate. There's no reason for this to continue. I don't understand why it still is. It's crazy because I found myself in the middle of this whole thing with clearly nothing to hide. I had nothing to do with this.
Okay, so that's a lot of sound all in a row. But Scott Rouse, I'm going to go back to the first stuff that you heard when he's standing on the boat and the interviewer seems to be off the boat from the dock, and sort of the whole soliloquy that he gave. Let's start with that one, and I want to get your take on that.
Okay. Well, we're seeing two things here. We can look at the good things and the bad things. Let's start with the bad things we're seeing here. We're seeing things where he uses her name the one time, then he starts calling her that girl and refers to her as her, she, those kind of things. And mostly it's about him. It's I'm sad, I've been crying, here's what I was doing, here's the way I feel. It's sort of all about him, and talks about how that was the love of his life, if I remember correctly. Then he brought up, that's the only part I remember right there specifically. But the good things we're seeing, the right things that happened were explosive grief, where he's just talking right along and exploding with grief, how he's sad and stuff. He's not afraid to accuse someone else in there. So not afraid to say that someone else most likely did it. And it doesn't seem rehearsed or structured. That's just right out of the gate. I'm seeing that doesn't sound rehearsed or structured to me. So I don't know. It's my gut says keep an eye on him, but there's nothing definitive here, I don't think, that shows that you could point your finger and say that's the guy that did it, other than the situation.
Oh, man. I fully thought you were going to say something else. So let's talk about the second soundbite. There was the whole Pastor Miller business where when Micah Miller died, Pastor Miller said to his congregation within hours of her death, well, she had her problems. And it really struck me. And I heard this boyfriend say it too, not just to us, but also to the other media outlets. So is there anything to that?
Quite often the person that if he's the killer, then he would be doing that to make her look bad. That's very common when it comes to someone who's murdered someone. They'll try to make that person look bad. And the reason I'm saying that we got to be that I want to be careful with this is because that's what it looks like to me, a histrionic personality type. And with those, it can go either way. They can look like they've done something when they haven't, and they can look like they have done something when they haven't done something when they have. So you got to really be careful with those because of all that the explosions of emotion coming from him. So that's sort of uncontrolled. So you got to be careful with those.
So there was another part. Yeah, there was another part where he said there's no drugs on this boat, and I thought, well, that's adding a lot of detail we didn't ask for. And the whole thing that he kept referring to her death as a suicide. Did that stand out to you?
Yeah, from what I caught in there, he doesn't say anything really specific about that. He doesn't get specific and say, oh, she killed herself or didn't kill herself, those kind of things. So he doesn't get really specific on anything. So that's why I'm saying still, it's not enough to look at and make a definitive call on it. I hate to be that guy, but I've got to call him like I see him and tell you what it looks like.
You have to. No, I love that you do because you so surprised me with Micah Miller's husband when you said, this is one, I think you actually said on this show, I'm going to show this to my students. I'm going to use this as a teaching interview as all the things that you need to watch for. So I kind of had a feeling you might say the same thing about this fellow, and you surprised me again. So let me play something else for you because Alex Capriello did this great interview, and then he also spoke with the police, and he found out some information about the domestic history behind this couple. And at the time, I wasn't sure if Alex knew or if it was too early to ask, but this was what Alex told us last night. Take a look.
They said that there was a history of domestic violence there. And then also, number two, from the other boaters and neighbors who live in that marina. I spoke to one man, the man who actually found her body, and he says that he would often hear them in shouting matches, yelling at the top of their lungs, screaming at each other in one moment, but then the next second later, you'll see them and they're holding hands and kissing and making up. So that was sort of the nature of their relationship. Also, speaking to the police, they said that Giselle had been arrested 4 times just this spring. One of those arrests was for assaulting James.
So obviously there was a lot of volatility in this relationship. Was there anything that you saw, any flags in those interview clips that might have led you to think, yep, that about lines up?
It's how he's leaning into not saying her name. He says it once at the top there in the first one. I didn't hear it in the second one. And he never says, I didn't do it. I didn't kill her. He sort of scoots around that and tries to give you the impression of that, but he doesn't say that. And it's all about him. Listen how many times he says, I, me, I'm so sad. This is how I'm feeling. That's a big red flag there. That's another reason I would keep an eye on him if they're not already. If he's not a person of interest already, I can understand why they'd say he wasn't. So he's not on guard the whole time.
He's one of 2 persons of interest at this point. So, yeah, I mean, we'll wait to see what the police come up with. But, you know, there's that whole expression, and I'm sure that this is like the core of some of your practice, that thou dost protest too much. And at one point, I think Alex learned that he had painted a symbol on his boat just since this poor woman died. I think it's like it resembles a semicolon, but it's supposed to be a suicide prevention symbol that he painted on the boat. It just seems like it's like a lot all at once. Okay, you're eyeing. What's that about?
Okay, well, yeah, when you start that kind of thing, if you bring up the Lord and you start putting things like you're against suicide and all that, when the suicide is in question, there's a couple of big red flags right there. So that's on the same. When somebody says, and they keep bringing up God or say God, I didn't hear him say that. But if they do that, this is the equivalent of that, because when we see either one of those, someone putting up a sign says, "Oh, don't commit suicide," when the person is supposedly hasn't committed suicide, but it's supposed to look like it. He's teaming up too much on the side where he believes it's a suicide. So going against what the authorities believe so far. So yeah, that's a couple of big red flags right there.
Well, I kind of wondered, because I thought it was a bit weird. But, you know, I'm just going to close out the segment saying he has not been charged with any crime. The only thing that we have heard from police is that he's one of 2 persons of interest. But he is, again, he's uncharged at this time. Scott Rouse, always great to have you. Thank you for doing this. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.